What if the story we thought was over was never truly finished? What if the man whose absence broke millions of hearts suddenly walked back into the world of Heartland? Season 19 opens with a moment that no one expected and no one was prepared. For Ty Borden, the man everyone believed to be gone forever, is seen again alive in the most shocking twist the series has ever revealed for. Years fans of Heartland have carried the heavy memory of Ty's death. It was not just a storyline, it was a moment that shattered the foundation of the show when Ty past Amy was left alone to raise their daughter Lindy. She struggled to move forward while carrying the weight of a love story that had touched so many Jack and the rest of the family. Tried to be strong for her, but there was always a sense of emptiness. At the ranch, Ty's absence lingered in every corner of the home, in every silence. At the dinner table and every quiet walk across the fields, viewers watched Amy transform through her grief. She put on a brave face and poured herself into her work with horses. She wanted to create stability for Lindy, but the ache in her eyes always reminded us that the wound was still fresh. Even when she smiled, it was the smile of someone holding back tears. Many fans could not accept the idea that Ty was gone for good for them. Heartland was not just a show about family and horses. It was the love story of Amy and Ty. The bond they shared felt like the soul of the series. Every season, since his departure, people wondered if there might be some twist, if Ty could somehow return, but as time passed, that hope began to fade. There was always a part of the audience that whispered, what if Ty came back? That is why the first moments of Season 19, Episode 1 hit so hard. The familiar backdrop of the ranch, the rolling fields, the quiet morning air, nothing seems unusual. Amy is shown carrying on with her life, tending to the horses, her hair tied back, her focus on the simple work of the day. Face looks distant, almost as though she feels something coming. As she walks across the field, the sound of a gate creaking open echoes in the silence. She turns, and in that instant, her entire world changes. Because standing there in the distance is a figure, a man whose presence she knows too well, a man who should not be there. Ty Borden. The shock is overwhelming. For a moment, the screen does not cut away Amy's eyes. Widen, her breath catches, her hands fall still. Everything in her life up. Until now, her grief, her healing, her journey as a mother, it all collides with the impossible image before her. Ty alive. The morning feels like any other at Heartland. The sun stretches its light over the hills, the horses graze quietly in the pasture, and Amy goes about her chores with the calm rhythm she has built over the years since Ty's passing. She has learned to find comfort in routine. It is the only way she knows how to keep moving forward. She wakes up early, prepares Lindy for school, and then turns her focus to the animals who depend on her. The stable, the fields, and the land have become her shield against loneliness. But even in this normality, there are cracks, moments when Amy pauses too long, staring at the horizon as if searching for something, moments when Jack notices her eyes drift away while she eats breakfast, and he knows without saying a word that she is still thinking about Ty. Her life is stable, yes, but it is not whole. The silence of the ranch without him still echoes as the episode begins. The show gives us these small reminders of Amy's struggle. She works with a troubled horse, a beautiful but stubborn animal who refuses to be led. This mirrors her own battle. She too has tried to lead herself into a new life, yet her heart resists, refusing to fully let go of the man she loved. It is subtle but powerful. The camera does not need dialogue to tell us. Amy's spirit is still fighting between acceptance and longing. Then comes the first hint that something unusual is on the horizon. While grooming the horse, Amy hears something in the distance, a sound that does not belong. A gate creaks, but it is not one she touched. A footstep echoes, but she is alone. She brushes it off at first, perhaps the wind or Jack moving equipment, yet her face shows a flicker of unease. Her instincts tell her change is close. Ranch itself seems to carry this mood of suspense. The air feels heavier, the colors sharper, the silence deeper. Every shot lingers just a little longer than usual on Amy's face, on the empty barn doorway, on the winding dirt road leading to the house. Yet Naaman then, as the scene builds quietly, the weight of her memories rushes in a flashback, overlays the present. Amy remembering Ty's smile, his hand resting gently on hers, his laughter echoing during simple evenings on the porch. These memories have never left her. They exist in every corner of her heart, and in that moment it feels as if they are trying to speak louder than ever. This is how episode 1 sets the stage. It is not loud, not rushed. Instead, it moves slowly, carefully, as if guiding Amy and the audience toward an awakening. The ranch is alive with something unseen, and Amy's heart is unknowingly walking toward the most unbelievable truth. The story is not over, and her life is about to be turned upside down in ways she could never imagine. Amy walks across the ranch, her boots pressing against the dirt path with a slow rhythm. The morning sun is bright, but the world around her feels strangely quiet, as if the air itself is waiting. She carries a bucket of feed, but her grip loosens slightly, her mind distant. Something about this day feels different. The silence is not peaceful, it is expectantous. She reaches the barn door, she pauses. A flicker of movement catches her eye at the far end of the field. Her heart stirs. But her mind resists. She has trained herself not to see what is not there. Too many times she has imagined Ty standing where he never was. Too many times she has woken from dreams that felt too real, only to be left with the ache of absence. She shakes her head, trying to ground herself in the present, but the sound comes again, the creak of the old wooden gate. The dirt, but she does not move. Her breath is trapped in her chest. She turns slowly, and there he is. At first it is only a figure distant against the light. A man standing tall, broad-shouldered, familiar in every way. Her eyes strain, her heart races. Her body locked between fear and hope. He takes a step forward, and the sunlight reveals more. His walk, his stance, the outline of his face, there is no denying it. It is Ty. Amy cannot breathe. Her lips part, but no sound escapes. Every part of her screams that this cannot be real, yet every detail tells her it is. The tilt of his head, the way his hands hang loosely by his sides, the softness in his eyes. It is him alive, standing on the very ground where she buried her grief. The camera lingers on Amy. Her entire world is collapsing and rebuilding at once. Her chest rises and falls. Rapidly, her hands trembling, she feels the weight of years of sorrow colliding with the impossible reality before her. She wants to run to him, but her feet refuse to move. She wants to cry, but her tears are locked by shock. The scene slows down, stretching every second. Her memory flashes back to the last moment she held him, the moment she thought was final. She remembers the pain, the goodbye, the silence that followed. Now those memories clash violently with the sight of him standing alive only steps away. The contradiction is unbearable. Ty does not speak. He only looks at her with eyes that carry both warmth and sorrow. It is as if he knows the storm he has brought back into her life. His silence is louder than words. Amy's chest tightens as emotions flood. Her confusion, anger, relief, joy, fear. All of it at once. The section closes. Not with answers, but with Amy's gaze locked on him. Her lips finally form the word that has been buried deep in her heart since the day he left Ty. For a long moment, the ranch is silent. Only the wind moves through the trees, and the distant horses shift uneasily, as if they too can feel the weight of what has happened. Amy's eyes are locked on Ty, every muscle in her body tight with disbelief. Her heart screams to run forward to hold him, to make sure he is real, but her mind shouts back, warning that this cannot be true. She takes a step forward, then stops, her breath is uneven, her hands trembling against her sides. Memories surge through her like a storm. The nights she cried alone, the mornings she forced herself to smile for Lindy, the conversations with Jack where she admitted she still felt half alive. All of that pain, all of that loss now collides with this impossible sight to me. S's voice is barely a whisper at first, her lips trembling as she tries to speak. She manages to say his name, but it sounds fragile, as if she is afraid that saying it too loud will break the illusion. Her knees almost give out from the shock. The bucket she carried lies forgotten on the ground, feeds scattered across the dirt. But she doesn't notice. Her mind rushes with questions. Where has he been? Why didn't he come back sooner? How is he alive? None of it makes sense, but above all, those questions rise as one overwhelming truth. She is seeing the man she loved, the man she thought she had lost forever, standing right in front of her. And that truth shakes her too. The core. Tears finally escape, breaking past the wall she built to survive these past years. But the tears are not only joy, they are anger to pain, confusion, fear. Every emotion she thought she had buried comes roaring back to life. She wants to scream at him for leaving, for letting her suffer, for letting their daughter grow without him. She wants to collapse into his arms and never let go. Is happening. He cannot yet see Ty clearly, but he sees Amy's face, her posture, her shaking shoulders. His hand grips the railing tighter, his heart heavy with a hope he doesn't dare name. Inside the house, Lindy plays, unaware, her laughter floating through the window, a painful reminder of all the years lost. Amy's body finally gives in to her emotions. She takes another step toward Ty, her voice louder, this time almost breaking. "What is going on? Where have you been?" Her words shake in the air. Raw and filled with hurt, she is no longer just the strong woman who endured grief. She is a mother, a wife, a daughter whose world has been split open against them. Tears, the shaking hands, the desperate questions that hang between them. Wounds of loss, and the terrifying hope of second chances. Amy is no longer sure. Words every breath heavier than explanation. Amy's eyes are locked on him, and she cannot look away. Now she does not know whether to believe her eyes or fight against them. Her chest rises and falls rapidly as her thoughts spin like a storm. She wants to run to him, yet fear pins her in place. When she blinks them away, he is still there, standing still, silent, watching her from the porch. Jack takes a careful step forward. His boots creak against the old wood. His face is etched with lines of worry and disbelief. He squints against the morning sun, trying to see what Amy sees at first. All he makes out is the shape of a man. But when the figure shifts, his stomach drops. The way he stands, the set of his shoulders, the shadow of his face. Jack knows that figure as well as Amy does. His heart pounds in his chest. An old man's heart, carrying too much weight and too much memory. He wants to shout, but the words catch in his throat. Could it be true? Could Ty really be standing there alive after all this time? Jack grips the railing tighter, feeling the wood press into his skin. He has always been the anchor for Amy. He's the one who told her to stay strong, but now he feels himself drifting, unsteady, unsure of what is real inside the house. Lindy's laughter rings out, clear and sweet. It cuts through the tension like sunlight through storm clouds. She calls for her mother, her small voice, who has grown up without her father, who has only known him through stories and photographs. From the pull of two powerful forces, hope and fear, one tells her to run to him to let Lindy see her father again. The other warns her that opening that door could break her all over. Again, finally, Amy speaks, her voice cracking. "Where have you been?" Her words echo across the quiet ranch, sharp and full of desperation. The question carries not just confusion, but years of pain. "Why did you leave me? Why did you leave us, Ty?" Does not answer. His silence feels like a wall. His eyes, though, speak with sorrow and something else, something Amy cannot yet name. And that silence makes the moment even more unbearable. "Jack." As voice finally cuts through rough and low Amy, he takes another step forward, his gaze locked on the figure in the distances. Tone is cautious, not yet willing to believe fully, but unable to deny the truth of what he sees. His presence grounds the scene, reminding Amy that she is not alone in this moment. Even if the world feels upside down, her family is still here watching. Sharing the weight of what unfolds, the camera holds on. Amy's trembling face on Jack's steady but shaken expression, and on, precariously on the knife edge of hope and heartbreak, the door to the house creaks open and a small shadow appears against the warm glow of the kitchen. Lindy skips down the steps, her braids bouncing as she hums a tune she invented for her morning. Play she is carrying one of her toy horses clutched tightly in her hand. The sound of her little boots on the wood echoes across the yard, and in that moment, the tension thickens even. Mormy's heart nearly stops. She takes a quick step forward, her arms half raised, as if she could shield her daughter from the impossible sight unfolding before them.
Ow!
Not just from danger, but from confusion, from heartbreak, from the risk of hope that may not last. But the little girl's eyes are already lifting, already scanning the yard. The silence clear and unbroken. "Who is that, Mommy?" Amy's throat tightens, the words will not come. She glances at Ty, then back at Lindy. Her chest feels crushed between the need to tell the truth and the terror that the truth itself may shatter them. All Jack's boots crunch on the gravel as he moves closer. His face torn between disbelief and fear, his eyes soften when they rest on Lindy, as though he wishes he could keep her forever safe from this moment. The figure at the gate shifts slightly, and for the first time since appearing, Ty takes a slow step forward. The movement is enough to send Amy's pulse racing. She feels torn in two. Reaching out and pulling back, Lindy stares harder. Her young mind tries to piece together what her heart already whispers. Her toy horse drops to the ground, forgotten. Her small voice trembles with something between wonder and confusion. He looks like the man in the pictures, she says softly. Amy's body flinches. The words pierce her like lightning. She has shown Lindy those pictures countless times, telling stories about the father she once knew, never imagining that one day the child would speak those words while staring directly at him. Her vision blurs with tears again, but she cannot look away. Request is useless. The child stands still, her eyes fixed on Ty, her small fists clenched as if she refuses to let this moment slip away. He stops a few feet closer now, still silent, but the pain in his eyes is unmistakable. His gaze shifts to Lindy, and for the first time his face softens into something almost fragile. She grips the side of the barn to steady herself. Her mind is shouting questions. Where has he been? Why now? Why like this? But her heart cannot keep pace. It is pulled mercilessly between anger and longing, between disbelief and the dangerous hope that maybe, just maybe, her family has been given back. To her, the camera holds on Lindy's face, her eyes wide, her lips parting as she whispers one word so soft yet powerful. Daddy. The screen fades to silence, hanging in the unbearable weight of that single word, unanswered, unexplained, and filled with the promise of everything to come. The word hangs in the air. Daddy, a single word from Lindy's lips that shatters the silence of the ranch and Pierce's girl who has grown up knowing only stories and photographs. Amy's chest heaves with the weight of it. She is torn between joy and fury, between running into Ty's arms and demanding to know how he could let them suffer for so long. Jack stands frozen, his hand pressed firmly against the porch railing. Through her grief of helping Lindy grow with strength, even in absence, and now all of that steadiness falters before the sight of Ty. His heart wants to believe, but his mind refuses to accept without answers. Ty finally breaks his silence. His voice is low, raw, and heavy with sorrow. I never wanted to leave. His words ripple through the air, but they do not explain, they do not heal. They only deepen the mystery. His face carries regret, his eyes fixed on Amy, as though begging her to understand something she cannot yet. Sami's hands tremble. She takes another step forward, her tears streaking down her face. Her voice cracks. Why now? Of years of pain and longing, Ty opens his mouth, but no answer comes. The weight of what he hides presses down on the moment, filling the air with tension.